What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to POV Pottery. I know it's been a minute, as the kids say. So yeah, I had a couple issues, but I'm back. And today we're gonna work on making a lidded ginger jar. Ginger jar is a classic ancient Chinese form, and I'll show you my take on it. Okay. So first step is you want about 5 pounds of clay. About 5 pounds of clay. The clay I'm using today is a Cone 6 B mix. Very smooth, very nice. Get that clay centered nice and skinny first. And then with your pinky, grab the top of the clay about the size of a, you know those cutie tangerines? About the size of a cutie. Okay? Or a doorknob, if you don't have cuties. You want to grab about that much clay. That's plenty of clay. Okay? Then what do you need to do? Then, not in the center, but off to the side, you're going to start to press down. Oh, and look at that. Check that. I don't know if you can see it. Got a little air bubble right there. Anytime you have an air bubble, you just poke it with your needle tool, squeeze out the air, and you should be okay. Good little teachable moment there. Okay? So, I'm going to support the clay underneath. Remember, you want this base to be nice and narrow. Okay? That will help you later when you cut it off. So get that narrow. And then, get your knuckle underneath this overhang and do a small little pull. You could do up and out. And pull. And if you wanted that, you could be done right there. That could be your knob. That's absolutely one type of lid, right? This is the type of lid that would drop down into a jar, okay? Another type of lid, make this a little bit more narrow. Another type of lid might be slightly more dome shape, like so. Sometimes I like to delineate the space with my fingernail, like that. So I have different sections that I can glaze differently. Right? This is one very straightforward knob. What's another style that you can do? Well, you could open this up. Right? You can make a small trumpet shape. Like that. That's a nice knob. Might be a little bit big for this lid. You can also give it a little belly and then start to collar as if you were making a very small bottle. And you can collar it all the way down till it's closed. And now I've got a hollow knob. And of course, hollow can be dangerous when it gets fired in the kiln, so I would poke a hole from underneath this lid so that it would not explode. Now, you may be thinking, how does he get that thing off? Well, before I cut it off, I'm going to measure. Now, I've got a pair of calipers here. This is a special kind of calipers. This is a pair of calipers that measures both the exterior and interior distance. So basically this distance is equivalent to that distance. It's exactly the same. So right now, if I take a ruler, I'm gonna go down to, well, let's see. Elbows in, measure carefully. This is it's a little over 5 inches. Let's make it 5 inches. Okay. I think 4 or 5 inches is good. A good size, because then you can reach your hand inside of the jar. So that's 5 inches, okay? And then this distance here is also 5 inches. So that's how that works. Now, how do you cut this off? Well, make a little notch with your finger. Then take a braided cutoff wire. I will show you how to make these in another video. And let it wrap around, pull, and you can lift. And I've got all this clay underneath here that I'm going to have to cut out a little bit later. But that is how you can make one lid. Okay, let me show you one more lid quickly. Same way, grab a piece of clay the size of about a doorknob. Okay, push your finger down. Support from underneath, pull it up. Just make a very straightforward knob this time. And I'll show you the drop down lid just so that you can see how I cut that, how I cut this lid off. Again, make this narrow. That makes a big difference. That is so much more helpful if that is narrow to begin with. Okay? I'm going to try and make this the exact same diameter. Need to make it a smidgen wider. And the reason why I want to make this the same diameter is because I want to have interchangeable lids and I want options. When you're first starting out to making these pieces, you want to make sure that you have multiple lids that are the same size. Okay? Hi guys. So I'm gonna make, this is what I did on the previous lid. I made a little notch right here with my fingernail. I held the wire at 3 o'clock, wheel going slowly. I let the tail swing around. I cut and I pull. Then two fingers and you can lift straight up. And look, the cut is totally parallel. It's nice and flat. So I really like throwing off the hump, especially when I'm making lids. Okay, so now I've got about, I don't know, maybe 4 pounds of clay here. And it's time to make a cylinder. You'll notice I'm dragging my right pinky over the edge. I really like to do that to compress the rim as I'm opening the clay, making it wider. On the inside, if you come on up here and take a look on the inside, I want to show you the inside corner of the cylinder. It's almost at an acute angle. Do you see that? That is a really important key. You see, and you hardly ever see that in other people's pottery videos. You don't get to see that inside corner. That is really key because it helps your left hand or your inside hand have a place to purchase and grab that clay for your fingers, you know, fingers to purchase, so that you can get that clay off of the bottom of your cylinder and get it up. So here I go. I'm going to push in with my left hand, with my right hand. I'm going to push in, 3, 2, 1, and lift. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Hold, hold, hold. Slow release. Compressing the rim as I let go. See that? I was doing that with my index finger. Notice it's slightly conical. You want to overcompensate for the force of the centrifugal force of the wheel, right? Here we go. So that's pull number 1. I'm going to reestablish that interior groove. I'm going to reestablish my exterior groove. I'm going to push in for 3 seconds. Notice my right hand is almost at 6 o'clock. Pushing in, push and lift. Now I know you can see that bulge of that clay coming up as I'm doing my pull. When you are doing your pulls, do you see a bulge coming up? If you don't, try that. Try getting that stagger. Okay? It took me a long time before I had the courage to try to do that staggered pull. And for a long time my fingers were lined up on the vertical axis. I thought this was the correct way to pull. But really, if you can get your inside hand slightly higher than your outside hand, you will get so much more height for each pull. And you won't be leaving clay at the bottom of your cylinder anymore. So that bulge is made by my left hand on the inside. It's pushing outwards. And my right hand is following it all the way up. When you get to the top, of course, you're going to hold for 3 seconds and then slowly release. What you don't want to do is whoop, come off the top and just pinch off a really skinny part of the rim. That's not what you want to do. Okay? So I'm going to collar, compress, make sure I'm wet on the inside of my cylinder. Okay, I don't want a swimming pool down there, but I do want to make sure my hand slides. Okay, now it's time to make the lid gallery for this. Now to do that, I'm going to make sure that this opening fits my lid, right? So check this out. If you can come up and in, shoot up and in here, check this out. I'm going to collar this up, and look at this. I want the edge of my lid to fit right there. So that's about the right diameter. And I'm gonna take my my index finger, and I'm gonna push down and make a little lid gallery or a little seat for it. That's all I'm gonna do. See that? That's all you need. Now from underneath, I'm supporting it with my right hand. And look, that's going to be a little bit too much play, so I'm going to squeeze. I'm going to collar this in. Okay, look, oh man, I've got all this slip on the inside of my pot. A little sludgy. Let's clean that out. Okay. Okay, that's much better. That's what you want to see. Just like that. Your calipers should rest right about there. A little bit of play is fine. Okay, that might be a little too tight. Okay, I like to have a little bit of play. Okay, now let's look at it from the profile. I've got my lid gallery established. Now I'm going to give this jar a little bit of belly. I like a narrow waist and then a distinct shoulder. There's something about that narrow waist that I feel like pulls the viewer and the user up into the pot. It has some lift to it, I feel. Of course, it's not as functional as if it was a little wider. Now, this to me looks a little off. Like the shoulders are wider than the belly, and I do want them to be pretty even, pretty balanced. So I'm just pushing a little bit harder right down here at the bottom. That looks better to me. Okay. Now, you're going to cut this off. You're going to wait till everything dries, turn it upside down, trim it. You can trim these lids right inside. You can turn them upside down and put them right in there. Before I do anything, I'm going to double check. Measure twice, cut once. Okay, that looks pretty good. Yep, that looks pretty good. These should fit. So I'm not going to keep this one, but let's just go ahead and double check to see. Does that fit? Yeah, alright, how's that fit? It's a little small. It's got a little bit of play. That's fine. Okay, so that's that. Let's check out this one. This one's okay. That one's a little tighter. Okay. All right. Let's take this off. Well, let's cut through the whole thing and see where we're at. Okay. This one's extra thick. It fell the wrong way. I didn't know. Okay, I'll turn this. Alright, so I did okay. I could maybe have gotten maybe one more pull. Yeah, probably one more pull off the bottom. Here's my mangled lid. Alright. Anyways, hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Peace.